All right, I want to go back to the definition of that content type, and I want to make a little change because you see, since we're going to be standardizing this using a document set for managing projects, it'd be good to provide a little additional information. Well, that main page that came up that showed those two included documents and general information, icon and so forth, that's actually just a web page, a web part page that we have the ability to manage inside of SharePoint 2010. Just do it a little bit farther down on the screen. You can see there's a link to customize the welcome screen. And when I come into here, I now don't have that unique property information because this is the generic page associated with any of these. And all I have to do now is put this page into edit mode. With the page in edit mode, the first thing I want to do is edit the properties for this, let's use the ribbon, for this image viewer. Now, this is an old school image viewer web part where I can't browse, don't necessarily have the opportunity to browse to the image I want to use. I have to already have that URL to plug into here. I just so happen to have it on this next tab. I'll click copy. I'll come over to that link and paste it into there and click OK. Now I should give it alternative text. You want to make sure that you're following all the right standards. Now the other thing I want to do, now that I've got an image, unique images on the screen, is to provide some information about this project library in case somebody should have questions about it in the future. And I'm going to do that as easily as going in and grabbing the content editor and adding it to the screen. Once it's on the screen, you can see I can click to edit this text. Another time to show off the use of that ribbon. The ribbon, of course, is giving me now the ability to do all the rich text editing I might want to do. And so now let's just give some general information. We'll say that this document set is provided for the management of general projects at Acme Scooters. Please see Doug Littlefield with any questions. And we could also even put up a site owner icon on here with Doug's information. You see Doug runs the project management office for Acme Scooters. I can make a little change to the text size. I also want to modify its color a little bit, give it some pop so that people will notice it. And now we will just stop editing, and those changes are now affected. So this was opened up in a new screen. All I have to do is close it. Now what I do need to do to make sure that this information gets pushed down is I have to select that checkbox and then click OK. It's going to force these changes to be updated anywhere it's being used, because we are using it over here under that Shared Documents library. In fact, let's navigate over to that Shared Documents library and down into our test project, and notice that that standard information now is showing up on this screen. Okay, back to that one image that shows the parent-child relationship of content types. What I want to do now is go down and create a new content type that's based on the Acme project that will have a little bit different information and stuff associated with it for an Acme IT project. So first is to navigate down to the IT site. Once I'm in here, I now want to manage the content types for this site and below. Remember, content types are hierarchical in where they're defined. So going to Site Content Types, I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to call this one the Acme IT Project. And we are going to inherit from the parent of Acme and Acme Projects, and we're going to put it into the group that we created before, just called Acme. And we'll click OK. And same type of information we had before. To modify it, I'm going to come into Document Settings. And what I want to do first of all is add one additional document, and that document is going to be inside of Templates, inside of IT Project. You'll see that there's a project workbook. Project workbooks are important to this IT projects. Helps us keep track of what's going on and where. Ultimately, I would imagine some of that content is going to get moved out of the workbook and into more SharePoint specific info. But for now, we need it to show up here. Now the last thing I want to add is inside of our site, we've actually predefined a status report, an IT project status report. And so that is a content type that we are going to allow to be used as well. In fact, we could even just click Add New down here and choose IT Status Report and reference stuff. But what I want to do now is just click OK. And so now that's been created. It is hierarchical, so everything that was defined previously up in the Acme project will be contained in the Acme IT project plus some additional info. Now, let's go down to into the Project Management Office. Inside of the Project Management Office, we have a place for project documents. Now, this is where I want to apply and use my newly created content type. I do that by clicking Library and Settings, and down inside of the settings, I'm going to do Manage the Content Types by adding an additional one. And here's Acme IT Project showing up. I could also see it by doing this and trimming that menu up a little bit. We'll click Add, click OK. And now it's officially added, and all I have to do to use it is go back up into the library itself, click on Documents and New, and you'll notice that here is this Acme IT project. Those are the only two items that are in there. So let's create it. This is going to be our project for rolling out Windows 7. Click OK. And now it'll officially be created. We'll see the three assets that I would have expected to see in here. And then also what is in here is that other content type that I created, and that is the IT status report. And what makes this even a little more interesting, I think, is the fact that that content type has its own workflow associated with it. Let's fill this status report out. Word is going to open. You'll see that it's being opened with a specific form that's been pre-created. And this is my update. We'll just save that. We'll see that it's saving it directly into our project documents area, and more specifically into our Windows 7 folder. And now I'll just make this name a little more unique. Click OK, and now I can close up Word. And you'll notice that inside of here we will have, once I click refresh, we will have our new project status report. And you'll also notice that there is a workflow that workflow has been started. If I just step back over into tasks, you'll see that there's been a request for Doug Littlefield, who, here we are, click on it. We're going to approve. By the way, we could reject it, we could cancel it, we could request a change to be done, or even reassign the task. For simplicity, I'm just going to click approved. You'll see that this workflow status has been updated to approved, and I can now go back into that Windows 7 project documents folder and notice that the status has been updated to approved. Okay, so that is how to use document sets inside of SharePoint 2010.